so hot and stupid outside. True story. I've been saying the phrase hot and stupid for years. Like, as in, boy, it is stupid that it's this hot. But no, nowadays I'm actually mean, it's hot and stupid outside a lot of the time. So, let's stay inside and do a cassette story, which is a day late. One of my kids has been sick, and that necessitated testing for, I can stop doing that now, COVID-19, and we won't know that until probably later. So, we gotta wait for that. So, my 2-year-old. I told him not to go to the store, though. He didn't. I don't know how. Of course, it'd be the 2-year-old who didn't go anywhere. Somehow got it from somewhere. I mean, it's not like we've isolated him in a clean room for, the last 3 months or anything. It's just... it's hot. And this album was pretty hot at the time of its release. Pantera, Cowboys from Hell. Not their first album. Their first major label album. They released some indie albums, which, if you can find physical copies, hey, they're worth a lot of money. And if you don't care about physical albums anymore, well, then you're like most people, and they can be found if you know where to look. Wink. So, they're not going to sound like this, just to warn you. If you haven't listened to their pre-Cowboys from Hell stuff, oh boy, you're in for quite the shock. They were, I'm not gonna lie to you. They sound like they're trying to be a glam rock band, which, every rock band was trying to do at the time. So don't blame them for that. But you also, other than their last independent album, they sound a lot different too because they had a different singer. And that different singer would leave Pantera and form a different band called Lord Tracy, which released one album on MCA Records called Deaf Gods of Babylon. These guys signed with Atco Atlantic, and they ended up having a bit longer and better of a career than Lord Tracy, although Lord Tracy, I guess, is still around, whereas Pantera, half the band's dead and the other two guys don't speak. And Phil Anselmo has become... he's putting the problematic and problematic fave for some people. I never cared for his non-Pantera stuff, and his last solo album I didn't even finish. I got 4 songs in, and I'm like, this is garbage. And I just stopped listening, deleted it from my hard drive, moved on to the new Tribe Called Quest album at the time, and haven't looked back. But yeah, Cowboys from Hell, very revelatory at the time. It was, they didn't know it at the time, but Pantera was really the band that ended up lighting the torch for metal in the 90s and kept it going. Even when people started thinking about, Metallica and their sellout album Load, or Megadeth and their, in their later 90s, straying a bit from their tried and true formula. Although, in the the Cryptic Writings was a really good album, but just didn't have the punch Countdown to Extinction had. These guys actually sustained a fairly surprisingly good and long career playing a kind of music that not a lot of people went for in the 90s. That's interesting. They also, on this album, they opened for Skid Row on the Slave to the Grind tour. People forget how heavy Skid Row got on their second album, because Skid Row's second album doesn't get as much attention as their first album anymore. But man, that second album just slams. And Pantera is your opening act. That's, you've got Pantera opening, you gotta bring it after they're done. But anyway, yeah, Pantera. This, of course, has their classics like Cowboys from Hell, Cemetery Gates, Domination, Clash with Reality. Everyone on here is a good one. This probably might be their best album. You could argue for Vulgar Display. You could really argue for a lot of them. So maybe the Great Southern Trendkill. I thought that one was their weakest, but I'm not here to argue about Pantera albums. You can do that in the comments if you really want. Let's take a look at the goods for the major label debut from the Texas group. There you go. Charlie mentioned about Dimebag Darrell and his untimely passing. It's been over 10 years, if you can believe that. That one really hit me hard, too. I was talking a few weeks ago on this or my other show about losing Aaliyah, really. I was in a daze for a couple days about that. And yeah, with Dimebag, too, I was also in kind of a daze. It's your basic Atlantic clear construction of the time. It's got the visible screws if you need to make repairs. It's got the Atco, which was one of their imprints. So we got that going for us, and now, so this also got we're on the clear part, so we gotta fast forward a bit and see. Oh yeah, that is still cassetting pretty good. Here it comes. I kept it straight. One of my new favorite TikTokers is I don't remember her username, but she just does things in a very monotone voice, and she always sounds bored. And it's sort of on purpose, but sort of not, and I sort of love it, and I don't know why. I hear my son coming, so I better eject quick. Hello.